All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. Happy Friday, April, I was going to say April, May 30th, right? So last trading day here of the month. And it certainly looks like we're going to have a pretty interesting trading day. Pretty aggressive rejections there, right? Yesterday on decent amounts of volume. And now, right, we have the opportunity for effectively bears, right, to step back in, take control, and really push markets lower. To be determined, right, if they do show that level of enthusiasm. But that's kind of what we're looking for here this AM, right? From a like trading perspective, I think it's been a pretty positive week. I think there's been some things that have been a little bit frustrating. There's things that have been working out pretty well. But I think like there's nothing that maybe phrase it a little bit differently, but I think the way or the thing that think is sustainable and is like a path moving forward or like something to embrace moving forward is yeah, taking multiple shots of the same thesis is not a bad thing. Not having your timing right happens and kind of stopping yourself out. And then like refusing to trade that setup again, I think probably is a little bit of a like too aggressive of a mindset. And what we've been doing here, right, this weekend, I think we've done it relatively well, is we've been willing to be wrong and then take the trade later on when it starts to behave in sort of a more appropriate way. Now, the evolution of that, right, is to get more aggressive in how you're cutting your losers to even further increase, right, your basic edge when a trade does come together and you get an opportunity to pyramid and you get an opportunity to build up your position sizing. And I think that that's a really kind of like healthy evolution, right? Or I'd be happy with that, right? I think as like a next step or as like a progression here in the improvement of the technique. And so it's something I'm thinking about a little bit here in the background. Kind of as I was falling asleep last night, was sort of thinking about that a little bit. And yeah, I just ultimately think that it's going to create a bigger advantage, right? A bigger edge for us, like a further decoupling away from the win rate is a positive. As frustrating as it might be sometimes to trade, but it's giving me more opportunities to consistently finish the day green. And so then the next easiest way for me to basically accelerate that, right, is to almost like cut the size of my average loss in half, right? If I could turn a $500 loss into a $200 loss, and I'm taking 3 attempts, right, potentially sometimes to get the direction right on the day, I think that still sets me up for a pretty good edge and something to kind of think about and consider here, right, as I go forward. So the like technical side of that, right, is to start to be more specific in how one defines how you'd expect a trade to behave, right, when you enter it. So, what does a strong reaction look like? What does a failed reaction look like? What does like an indecisive or nothing reaction look like, right? And in two of those three scenarios, you're probably not getting what you want, and it's a good reason to maybe look to cut that trade to a certain extent. And I definitely feel this as an individual. Like there's a certain level of like ego that gets attached to each trading decision, right? You want it to be correct, you want to be vindicated, you want to be validated. And I think decoupling from that even further will continue to basically compound, right, some of the improvements on like the daily win percentage, i.e., like the end of day green percentage. So that's really what I'm kind of focusing on here. I'll maybe take the weekend, right, to kind of like formalize that and like figure out how I want to do that in my brain. But I think that's like the next progression and something I've been thinking about here a little bit. It's almost like if you can't beat them, join them type scenario. Um, because I think there's a lot of value in taking every setup that sort of shows up and like really being willing to play the variance game and the game of probabilities. Um, so there's like Yeah, almost like the commitment to wanting to go double down on that, right? Because it has been working well, it has been successful. It's been a really good kind of process. So yeah, getting better at it, improving that. I think that's like the natural progression. All right. So with that being said, kind of all out of the way there now. Let's start kind of mapping things out, figure out what we want to do here this AM, and then go from there. Got a little bit of Fed speak. Yeah, a little bit of Fed speak here this afternoon, and then pretty busy economic data. We've got PMI at 9:45. That's going to slow me down, right? Just naturally because it's going to be 9:45 data is kind of like what am I supposed to do with this type scenario. So we'll see how things sort of shape up from there. But relatively busy economic calendar. And yeah, maybe that'll create like volatility for us in that second half of the morning where we've definitely seen more success here recently. So yeah, well, let's kind of go from there. But yeah, let's start the count, guys. What's the count on ES? Let's get after it. Yeah, 3 for 3 here to the downside, spot on. Sorry, I'm trying to. My voice was feeling strong there for a second, and then just kind of destroyed me. Um, what's the last time we had a 3 for 3 here at this trend line? What happened? Yeah, found support, right? So the 3 for 3 system, Dan, is our pre-market prep system, right? We're using that to identify what the daily trend is of the market, and then we're looking for trades that are like short-term signals that are matching, right, the long-term support. So the three elements that we're looking for, right, is what was the previous day's candle color? What was the previous day's volume, right? Was it increasing or decreasing? What's today's pre-market price action telling us? So you want a red candle, right, to have red volume. If a red candle is strong, it should have increasing volume, right? And then if that bearish price action is in control, then you should see a like gap down, right, in the morning. So it tells you that all three versions, right, of strong bearish price action are showing you strength, right? They're giving you like that maximum strength signal without necessarily just like dying 200 points. So that's effectively what it is. There should be a video in the Start Here channel of the Discord, right? And that would be video number 3, pre-market prep system. And I would recommend reviewing that as it'll break it down in more detail than we have during this pre-market here. But yeah, so we've seen it bounce right off of this trend line here before. So it wouldn't be surprising, right, for that to necessarily happen again. So I'm going to maintain a little bit of flexibility, but with caution, right? I think that's ultimately going to be the right way of describing it. It's also a bit of a psychological level here, kind of that 5,900. So does make sense, right? And then our pre-market high is 5,920. So then that also gives us a bit of flexibility within that context. I can't type. Cool. And I don't think it's going to go all the way up to 60-30, right? That would be a pretty big move and quite surprising, but certainly could be in play if something does want to come together. To the downside, right? This is where our path of least resistance is. I just call it reversal across the board here. But yeah, to the downside here, right? We want to basically see them be aggressive early, right? Really push it through that trend line, not give us like any, like don't flirt with reversing here pretty much. And if it can break down, show some volume, right? Give us some enthusiasm. Yeah, it could be another kind of like textbook red day like we took advantage of there yesterday. So starting point here to the downside, 58.80. And then we're looking, right, for a decent breakdown. Maybe we could go 5,000. basically once you get a trend line breakdown, right, you're kind of going from point to point to point to point. So I don't think we'd get to 57.40 here again in one day, but 80 points of follow through here to the downside would be a pretty epic session. Cool. All right, the old NQ, similar, not so similar. How do we feel? Yeah, same thing, right? Same type of trend line support. So we're looking, right, for bearish breakdown by like priority, but then if we get that trend line reversal right off of this area, wouldn't be surprising. And then we just need to see like everything reversing, right? And then to the upside, 21.4. Actually, these numbers change so fast. So 21.4, 21.5. Cool. And then if we're going to get a breakdown here, same thing, right? Get that breakdown through our levels of enthusiasm. We're at 29,323. So 21, say 29, 21,323. So we're at 21.2 as our initial kind of breakdown target. And then next point of contact's 26. You go. And then maybe we get some more follow through from there, but that would be plenty of space. All right, CL basically still consolidating right inside this trend line. Doesn't want to do anything particularly significant here. It's probably more like that. So we need to get under 60, right? Or basically above 63. So if we're going to call that wedge consolidation, right? And we're effectively saying that this is markets catching your breath, right? If we're going to get that breakout through the trend line, I don't want to still see a bigger volume, right, than what we saw there yesterday. We'd like to see that increasing standard because if this isn't enough volume to push price action outside of this consolidation range, and then on the flip side, right, like if this right on the 25th isn't enough to get us through those ranges, you want to see a level of enthusiasm kind of show up there prior to being hyper aggressive. Now, a breakdown through 60 or towards that area is a good starting point. We could start to play that out and then kind of hope, right, that the daily candle closes under and on big volume and create that sort of immediate trend. But there's a lot less reasons, right, for us to want to be hyper aggressive here in crude. I'm just looking at this now. Like the 15th to now, right? It's the last, 16 days or so of just of the calendar. This looks like it's been a disaster to trade, right? No real continuation. One candle up, one candle down. So I'm not sure if there's too much value in just like forcing action here. Better to be deliberate and let's wait for PA to be clean. Okay, Apple 3 for 3 here to the downside, right? Red candle, increasing volume, right? That's also red, and then a gap down. Strong trending to the downside. Tesla, same thing, right? But still consolidating above its bull flag breakout. So these are effectively low vol pullbacks, right? And this is actually a 2 out of 3 without volume. We've got a high vol breakout, right? Weak bears trying to reclaim control. They're unable to do so. If bulls can step back in, Tesla could move pretty quick here. Microsoft actually gapping up. So 1 for 3 here to the downside. Amazon 3 for 3. AMD 3 for 3. Kind of filling or trying to fill, right, that NVIDIA's earnings gap. Again, NVIDIA 3 for 3 work. We would have expected this volume to have been super aggressive, right? Post earnings generally is when you get the biggest volume kind of profiles here. Got a few points left to fill that gap. It could then be like a gap and go type thing. Gaps kind of sometimes like to fill in like the second most obvious way. Now we're going to get a pullback right into that zone, bounce off of 137, and then go higher. That would be the thesis potentially. All right, Meta decreasing volume. So we're going to call this a 2 out of 3 without. A Netflix, pretty decent gap up, setting up as an inside bar. And I'm saying it's setting up as an inside bar because it's opening up in the implied middle of the previous day's range. So it's got a lot of work to do to gap or to break out, right? A lot of room to do to break down. So maybe it just doesn't have that enthusiasm here today. And then Google 2 out of 3 here to the downside without volume. And it's like a baby gap down, right? Only a few pennies. And then the old VIX, right? 19 spots, 6.5. So increasing, if we can get it back over 20, maybe that creates like another like waterfall type event for us. But yeah, we're still well within sort of the implied daily range, and we've got plenty of space, and I think we've got a lot of opportunities here today. Just really depending on how enthusiastic like the month end selling is. I think that creates like a little bit of an environment for us, and there's going to be a lot of people that are like by strategy buying and selling here today. Curious to see, right, if that kind of creates like a level of volume for us that we can take advantage of, and if it creates a smooth enough environment, right, and narrative for us to take advantage of. So I think that there is a lot of potential for us here today. I don't know if there's anything I need to be like afraid of or overcorrecting for. Really, the priority is take all the setups that show their faces, right? Be aggressive in how I'm cutting those losers if they do happen. And then, yeah, look to build up my winning positions, trust my thesis, and play the price action that's in front of me, not the price action that my ego wants to validate. So that's really what the objective is here this morning. Any questions here, team? How's everyone feeling? We're all feeling sharp, ready to go. Love to hear that, Mike. Good, good, good. How are my YouTubers doing? Hopefully good as well. All right. Well, either way here, team. I'm going to go make myself a quick cup of coffee here. Spend a few minutes visualizing a successful trading day. And then we'll jump back on in a couple minutes. And we'll set ourselves up for what should hopefully be an interesting trading session. So back in a couple, and I'll talk to you guys then. All right. So, yeah, back at it here, team. So, yeah, generally, right, we're going to turn this NQ into a 2.5. It's not going to change anything, right? Because we've seen it both now be green and red in the pre market. But besides that, right, looking forward to seeing if we either get a trend line breakdown, right, which we're maybe setting up for a little bit more, or if we basically get like a bounce day and kind of get back to sort of being a little bit of range bound price action. May's been a little bit of a decent month here to the upside after a pretty good little reversal bar there, right, on end of April. So let's see if we can basically get a continuation type of narrative. Now, all things considered, right, we're pretty much just back to where price action was in February. So this has been a relatively stagnant market, all things considered, with more like micro trends, right, than anything that's like super significant or long term. So maybe like a bit more of an element of chop, right? Things along those lines. But let's see where the enthusiasm shows up here this AM. Hopefully, we can take advantage of a few of these opportunities and then, yeah, build out our technique and our strategy from there. I'm excited to see what kind of potential we have in store here today, but I'm not going to like force it or rush it or do anything stupid. It's been a really good trading week. So, maybe a little bit of deja vu to what I said last Friday, but I don't want to do anything that's stupid, right? I don't want to do anything that is like just like a blanket mistake. I don't want to do anything where I sit on it and think about it all weekend long. I just want to have a clean, smooth trading day. If it's like a one and done, oh man, yes, please. If I have to work for my money, yeah, no worries. But I'm not gonna break any of my rules. I'm not gonna chase any of my processes. Certainly not gonna compromise here just to feel alive. It's been a good trading week, so if I don't get a trade here today, again, right? No worries. The important thing I think as traders is for us to really focus or to emphasize that it's the quality of our process that leads to our P&L, not us wanting P&L, right? Trading because I need validation from a number generally only leads to one thing, and it tends to like lead to blowing up, right? Or to taking trades that you shouldn't take and like compounding your rules in a negative way. So we want to avoid that. We want to avoid basically rewarding those bad habits because the most dangerous trade, right, is one where you break your rules and make money anyway, because it becomes hard, right, to separate something bad from something good, and you just get confused and you make it easier, right, to lose money on the next trade. So really being like a psycho, for lack of a better term, about basically just the quality of my risk management. If I can judge myself on that, not make any operational mistakes, it's going to be a good day. And if I keep my loser small and I build up my position sizing aggressively on my winning trades, I think I'm going to be in really good shape here to take advantage of whatever the markets want to give me here today. I am excited. I'm optimistic. I'm feeling good. Yeah, stoked to be here. So let's have ourselves a heck of a Friday. Let's crush the week. Let's finish it off with a bang, right? And yeah, let's have ourselves a really fun trading day. Any questions here, team, across the board? Anything maybe that I didn't touch on in the pre-market? Anything that you want me to look at? Yeah, well, let me know. All right, I'm going to take that as everyone's feeling good. And yeah, team, let's shape up for what should hopefully be a really interesting trading day. Markets open in about 15 seconds. Let's crush. All right, we're off. So bouncy to start for sure. How do you feel about the size of this opening range here so far? What do you think? Yeah, maybe bigger on ES, kind of smaller on NQ, right? Like a bigger than normal. And yesterday was a very big opening range, right? Yesterday was 100 something points. Well, I'm kind of expecting chop here this morning because we've got data at 9:45 and then 10 a.m. I'm kind of expecting that. And the volume is fine on NQ, I think. Yeah, and like you compare it to yesterday's candles too, but you also want to kind of do like just a general view of the week, right? Because yesterday was definitely an outlier day. So like bigger range than most of the week, but smaller than yesterday. I'm just trying to log into everything here. Taking me a bit longer than I expected this morning. All right. So and we're going to be a little bit patient here this AM because we've got that 9:45 data. Generally, right, that can be a little bit of a hiccup. And one thing I hate to trade, and it's probably a big reason why I don't trade power hour in general, is I don't like the feeling of being under pressure to close a trade. Like I don't like having the feeling as if like the walls are closing in on me. So if I can avoid right having that going into the 9:45 data, that would be fantastic. Enough time to have a couple sips of coffee, wake up a bit. I say I'm starting to finally get used to like the West Coast hours a little bit, and I am loving them. Waking up early is a bit of a tough one, but being done, like say worst case scenario by like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, so nice. You can do so many things. So not bad actually from both ES and NQ. Not quite tradable here yet, again, but still gonna be a little bit patient. Yeah, it's been great, Mike. Doing a lot of well, I've been doing a lot of entertaining, but it's like you can go do that hike right middle of the day when it's quiet. Imagine when the mountain is open for like skiing and snowboarding. Like that random Tuesday runs. Those are going to be the best. There's like a pretty aggressive downhill mountain bike park I've done a couple times. That's really fun. My legs are all purple, but it's really fun. I don't think that we're going to see 300 on NQ still before anything is said and done here. Then ES doesn't really want to separate above or below 900. I'm interesting. Oh yeah, Mike, it's that's the worst. I was in Vancouver a couple weeks ago, ready to get my car serviced, and the traffic in Vancouver has gone so bad. But I was like, going to go see a friend who lives by like the Peony. For those of you who know Vancouver, kind of like East Side Vancouver, and I had to go drop off my like car. It was like 12 kilometers away at the dealership, and it took 65 minutes to drive that distance at like 4 o'clock or whatever. Man, I was freaking pulling my hair out. It was ridiculous. Okay, so we still got 6 minutes till 9:45 data. Not really any volume on CL to the downside. Interesting from NQ. Kind of looking like a 5 minute fake out. All right, so still just chilling here. Even if I was willing to trade before that 9:45, no active signals, right? Or we have setups, but with no confirmation. So I think that read was pretty much spot on. Man, it feels slow. So back to 900 on ES. NQ flirted with 304.25 or something. Better close on the 5 min actually than I expected. All right, so data in 3 minutes. Feels like a weird countdown. If we're definitely getting clues from the early price action, although bears aren't stepping up with a tremendous amount of enthusiasm here yet, bulls aren't able to reclaim control here either. Kind of been like a weird range for the last few minutes. All right, let's see if we can get through 300. A breakdown through 300 and then using the data drop, right, as like an opportunity to get an overreaction. That might almost be like a best case scenario. Here's that first attempt. A little bounce was smaller the second time. And this seems like it's going to be a buy the dip spot with the way that bounce back through 300 happened. Let's see. 50 seconds. Might have a chance to get the volume here. Then be targeting 236. And or ES a little bit more challenging because we're not breaking down through lows. This will be close. Don't think I'm going to get increasing volume here. Kind of another letdown. Yep, there it goes. All right. So at least we've been reading the market pretty well here this morning. Nice positive. Just the enthusiasm around 300, right, was not what maybe you'd expect. But now maybe we're looking for like that reversal scenario. I hate when trading view gets slow. All right, so now we're looking for this to close as an aggressive candle shape, right? Something that looks like 1, 2, or 3. we're likely to get candles 2 or 3, right? Or alternatively, right, break down under 294 and hold it and finish as a red candle. Because then I can play the breakdown scenario. Interesting from ES too. So 294, right, is our reference point here for confirmation. Probably not going to happen. Trying to jinx it. Yeah, probably not going to be a strong enough candle close. Right on the cusp, but that's a fake out higher, fake out lower. Still maintaining that narrative of indecision. CL starting to break down here a little bit. Bounced right off of the previous day low. Maybe that slows me down here just a tad. $9.48, still early. Feels later than that. Let's watch CL here. So again, from profit target to stop loss. So stop loss here would be 60.39. We're looking for a pullback basically into that zone. So blue line. So 33, right? So risking 6 points of risk. Not. The alternative, right, is wait for this 5-min to close on NQ and ES, right? Those are good increasing volume standards. So maybe that's the better opportunity. Been watching them more closely as well. So again, we're looking for 294 here on NQ. It's kind of doing the same bullshit that just did on the 3-min. 294, raise the reference. 294, 20 seconds, still in play. This is going to be close. Okay, good close. Now we're looking at this, right? 292 stop loss. And this is the area we're kind of watching here, right? I could potentially be 2 contracts. We get a low pullback now. Good reaction. Quite get a trigger into my entry price. Ugh. Mean. That's a bummer. I could try this on the maybe the 3-min here just to tighten up the risk. It'd have to look like this. And then targeting 200. A 267.50 stop loss. 268. You're looking for a reference price around 258. Might have just missed it again. How the fuck? I'm here 952. $93 points of risk on ES. Kind of interesting. Okay, let's focus on ES here. Stop loss where I would be 581, right? 591. You're looking at maybe 4 contracts here. Yeah, I'd be looking at 4 probably, Aj, right around this level. But I'm going to wait, be very patient. This pullback's maybe a little bit more aggressive than I would like. Hitting that almost NQ pullback here. Big volume. This might want to almost set up as a reversal now. Okay, no entry on ES, no entry on ES. Kind of looks like a reversal print. Not enough volume. It's work, Nautilus. Congratulations. It's quite the little reversal fake out here. It's a consistent candle. This is extremely aggressive. I'm fighting myself here a little bit. Gonna fight the urge a little bit here. Not convinced yet. Do you want to play that reversal though? Quite badly. I mean, good thing I didn't. What I'm fighting a little bit here. I'm gonna not talk myself into this, but there's like a little bit of maybe a bias that I've developed here intraday where it maybe hasn't felt like as if the bearish price action has actually been that strong. And so it's like wanting to play this reversal is front running the bullish reversal. I don't think is the right idea, or I don't think it's like the path of least resistance. It's like my mind is trying to talk me into this. I'm not going to fall for it. I need some sort of bullish confirmation. There's an element there that's very, very interesting. Trying to find some sort of evidence that bulls are in control. I don't have that yet on these shorter time frames. Maybe you could do like the fake out entry here. That'd be pretty aggressive. You got what, 3 minutes till 10 a.m. data too. And ES is showing us more kind of like residual strength, if that makes sense. Behaving a little bit more reliably. TL not breaking down really. Huh. Okay, so here's 10 a.m. data. Ooh, big explosion. We're definitely gonna have our volume here, team. We're definitely gonna have our volume. So let's see if this thing can cooperate for us. I hope so, Kiki. I hope so. So 50 seconds. Let's see if it's got some juice left. That was a pretty aggressive algo move. Pretty aggressive. Okay. So let's watch here, right? Let's absolutely be watching here to the upside. Ideally, right, we want the aggressive technique. So stop loss would be like 308-ish. So let's even get up and over, right? And then we can make that entry. Not sure yet, right, Ashley? We got to see how price action, or if it breaks out and where it finds support. So to be determined. If it right now, as is, right, gets stuck here at 302, will be one contract play. So for now, we have to focus then on the pullback technique. Let's see. Maybe not. So it'd be a 297 stop loss. Would be a one contract play. Okay, so watching here closely. All right, guys. So I am in average price 319.50. 319.50. One contract. Stop at 297.75. Beautiful. What a rip so far, team. Fantastic. Let's see if this thing can keep going. That's a good start. All right, so now we could possibly think about potentially pyramiding in here on this next candle. A quick $500, right? That's not bad. And let's see how this thing closes. Where's that residual strength? Okay, so I just pyramided in, guys. Average price is now 831. Not a great pyramid. Fill price on that pyramid fill was 41, I think. I wouldn't say this is behaving the way that I maybe want. Keep pushing here. All right, keep going, keep going, keep going. So we can get over 50, right? Stop loss would be a breakdown under my average price at the moment. Still a hard stop loss at the original spot. It's a mental stop loss around my average price. Come on, keep pushing. There we go. All right, keep going, keep going. I didn't like that rejection. We've just seen it struggle at psychological levels a little bit here today, right? That's why I'm being just a little bit cautious. Or there maybe why there's like an ounce of paranoia here. Not the best candle shape, kind of telling me maybe it's out of momentum. So I'm going to look to get out of this position here if we get a quick little pop above 350. Let's see if it's got the legs, but it's kind of telling me it's running out of juice, right? Just a little bit. All right, guys, I've closed here. Closed at 346.50. Closed at 346.50. Maybe a little bit early. Got maybe a little bit nervous about that pullback into the 41 range. But hey, good start to the day, right? Good start to the day. Won't complain about that. And you know what? Maybe it was the right call. Maybe just like, 5 seconds too early on my close. But, if I'm going to be fully transparent here, like I felt a little bit, maybe too aggressive with my pyramid price. And that maybe made me just feel a little bit anxious. Or like there was like to a certain extent, like a sinking feeling on each little pullback, instead of feeling that it was super confident. Nice work. So I would rather reset and get impartial and then try again, right? Because I do have a signal here still in the 10 min. But like when I'm looking to continue a trade, right? I need three things. So I want to see a strong candle shape, right? I want to see an increasing volume profile, and I want to see us hold higher highs, right? That 1006 candle went 0 for 3 on those things. So it's not a strong candle shape, it's not increasing volume, and it didn't hold higher highs. And then you pair that up, right, with it kind of getting stuck at 350. And I'm all of a sudden hesitant to think that I'm going to have like a tremendous amount of continuation left or like a super easy trade left. So I don't think that the pyramid logic was wrong at the time I did it. I think I could have gotten one 336, 333, right? 335, like that type of range. And that might have reduced some of that anxiety, right? That would have made it easier to basically sustain this move. But yeah, I don't think I've missed anything out here for now. That was a decent close. Maybe again, could have gone a few extra points, but that's the way she is. So So we can play this on the 10 min, right? If it does want to give us that clean thesis. And so it'd be 336 to 357. So that's 21 points. That should be a one contract play. But again, right, I don't have to catch this move all in one go. I can take more than one shot here, and it's not a big deal. We're going to keep this up just because it's going to save me time, right, on the reprint. Obviously, now it explodes. Classic. I mean, it's all right. We're green. Made a good decision. Worst case scenario, right? It sets back up for us. And then we get to play that green to red breakout. No biggie. Never going to punish myself for following my rules. That's a losing game. This might set up almost better as an ES play. See how this behaves in the next couple. Stop loss would be what, 336. We got a little bit of a ways to go. I need that Frank Sinatra song playing. That's life. Every time you get faked out of a trade, just play that in the background. Every time a move happens right after you close, just play that in the background. Ooh. I'll take being green though. That's a nice feeling. All right, so 15 mins just closed. And we could be in play here. Go pull back. I would need 360 or less. Very possible. And then if the 50 happens, right, that's also pretty much within striking distance. Sorry, the 15 happens. Sorry, 15. Actually, you can't do the 15. No confirmation. Let me take that back. So looking at the 5 still. And I need 360 or lower. 360 or lower. Close, but it's no cigar yet. All right. Okay, we're getting close. Watching. I was a point and a half away. finding a lot of support kind of in that buffer spot. So if we do get that 360 touch, I think there's a good chance we get like a little bit of an overreaction move under it and then like a trampoline move back above. No, Audrey, I've been saying 360 the whole time. My limit order is set at ticks to ask, and I'm just watching, right? Is my dollar risk less than 500? And then I'm looking, right, to get a discount relative to that. I'm not worried about clicking submit here at 367. That's not something that I'm going to do. I'm looking for a discount relative to that and watching my dollar risk and just having my ask set at 0. Okay, so here's our potential here. Trying to get that little overreaction move. Oh, still not in. Don't think I've had that overreaction yet. So it has a chance, right, to happen basically in the next 30 seconds. We're getting a little inside bar setup. I mean, no rush. Maybe I should have been. All right, trade is stronger. I'll give you more than one chance. No biggie. Fuck, I should have been aggressive. Breaks out here though, right? I won't complain about that either. Then I could go 371.50 as my stop, right? Entry price around 385 and have pretty tight risk. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for here now. It's going to call it 371 on the dot here as my stop loss. Let's give it a second. Nice work, AJ. Hey, Kiki, an extra, $180. That's not bad. That's still a good day at the office. All right, let's see if this thing's going to set back up for us here. $315 on the ES. That's above open. Okay, again, still watching. And this would be 2 contracts. I'm on. Give me a little baby pullback. Come on. Okay, that's me in. So 381.50, 381.50. 2 contracts. And stop is 371. Oh, that's coming fast. Man, I get some horrific fills on these stop losses. I did take the hit there. Like I felt like that happened 2 points early. All right, we could try this again here potentially. Be it now, maybe it looks like it's failing. Okay, so now stop would have to be 363. No. I'm not following you to say that that's a rejection. Now stop would have to be 360 or 360. Against a little low vol pullback. Okay, back in business potentially. I'll watch this candle close. Possibly try this again. Okay, so I'm watching your team. I'm watching. A gentle pullback here. Gentle, gentle, gentle. I'm finding the courage here a little bit. Okay, come on, come on. All right. So I'm in 378.25. Stop loss 350. 359.50, sorry. And it's just one contract. Ooh, I'm bad. Bad right away. What, how the fuck did I get stopped out there? That's pissing me off. I don't understand how I got stopped out there. Dude, my fill price was 364.75. What the fuck? That's 5 points from where my stop loss was set. That is infuriating. Yeah. What the fuck? Oh, that's really gonna make me really mad. Like I just got cheated a little bit. Oh, I'm very annoyed by that. That is a huge discrepancy. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, because I mean, he was not cheated out of 70K. He just refused to follow their trading rules. And when they denied his trading that he was following their rules, he was like, they're robbing me. Like he would just average down, average down, average down, average down. And then go from there. And when you'd explain the rules to him, he'd call you that you're a scammer on their side. Oh man. Not how it works. Let's go, Jared. Nice work. That guy sucked. Oh, someone who was a DTR member for a little bit, but they were removed from the program. Like they just refused to follow the trading rules, would complain that when their trading didn't go the way that they expected, that it was whatever, like that was just a scam or whatever it was, but they were just, fucking around doing their own thing. And basically just like no matter how bad a move was going, they just kept averaging down, averaging down, averaging down. And they got a big payout. Or they got a big win and they're like, whoa, they owe me all this money. I'm gonna sue them. I'm gonna tell the Attorney General of Texas. Yeah, if I can get another possible entry here. Truth be told, Ashley, I'm a little bit just trying to slow myself down here because I'm a bit annoyed about that last trade. So I just wanted to give myself a extra moment just to like kind of catch my breath a little bit. But if something does set back up, right, that would be fantastic. And a little inside bar breakout potentially. Yeah, kind of an annoying down 151 on the day. A little bit annoyed by Let's go, Kiki. Nice work. Congratulations. Go enjoy a beautiful Vancouver day. Yeah, appreciate that. Hopefully the weather's good. I need to do a long run this weekend. That's the routine, or that's the what I got to force myself to. All right, well, we're still in play here. Well, we got enough people from Edmonton inside here, Logan. I'm not sure if they want to see that from you. Maybe CL's back in business here. It'd have to be something like this. Well, there's a general lack of enthusiasm here at these highs, but I don't have any confirmation that bears are back in control. So for me, it would just be a setup, right? Not a tradable opportunity. I'm interested in CL here, though. 60.57 would be the stop. Maybe go like 10 contracts here. Let's see how. Okay, good thing. And pull the trigger. Let's see how this thing behaves, basically. Now it would be 360 stop loss. Okay, never mind. Oh, better. And that would be 360. Try 660. I have not set a number right here today. Okay, staying away for sure. All right, back to watching NQ and ES. Can give me these range breakouts. 737. And I'm down 151.37 on the day. Probably shouldn't have been. I mean that little early stop loss that I got triggered. That should not have happened. At least not that aggressively. Kind of a piss take. Okay, so let's see if they can break out and hold above high a day, right? That's kind of what we're looking for here. Me close. Okay, did. So now we're looking for the aggressive for now. So stop loss would be like 391.75, or if we get the pullback, right, it would be 358. If it's the 358, then we're looking at like a 73 entry. If it's the aggressive, right, we're looking at like a 399 entry. Okay, so it's going to be aggressive. So 391 stop loss, right, would be the target here. You go pretty decent sizing with this. Think. Okay, so now we're back to looking for the pullback technique. Man, unless this flips around here pretty quick. It might. Okay, back to pullback. You're looking 373-ish, right? Coming up fast. All right, watch him closely here. Okay, watching. 4 points. I get just like a little bit of a discount here. Be a little bit too patient. Let's try again. Yeah, a little inside bar, right? I might be able to get that little inside bar fake out type setup. I got maybe just a little bit too wanted too much of a pullback there. And back to watching. Looking for that little inside bar fake out, right? Just a little fake out under that inside bar low. There it is. All right, so I'm in 371. I don't know why the ding didn't go. I'm in at 371. Stop loss 358. One contract. And a really good reaction. Really good reaction there early. So now we don't want to kind of like we don't want to see it retest, right? Our entry price. This things just should be just starting to go. Oh, that I did not like. All right. Okay, guys, I've closed at 73.75. Closed at 73.75. I really did not like that rejection. I'll take the small win. I'll reset, try again. Like that move, right, from 80 to like 370 was instant. That's not strong bulls. Coincides, right, with a big sell off there on ES as well. Maybe we could play a 5-min rejection there. That was kind of some funky price action. All right, so I'm looking for I mean, it's now basically fake out higher, fake out lower. You're looking for a move to the downside, right, towards low of day. There'd be a 913 stop loss on ES. All right. I'm watching here for sure, team. And a good decision, really good decision on NQ, right? Really good decision. Okay, so I'm watching here very closely. I just missed that 911. I might have a chance here. Didn't give me that extra 2 ticks. Again, still watching. There's 911. Okay, sweet. So I'm in. I might get stopped out instantly here. Average price 911.25. 911.25. 4 contracts. We can break down. That has been flirting with disaster there for a second. $911.25. $911.25 is my entry price. Short, right? Short. I got the stop. Ay, ay, ay. That was a good stop loss. All right, so 350 hit on that. Oh man, all right. This is starting to get bouncy. 377 would be the stop here on this reversal. Or like support inside the range. Fuck me. All right. I can go pretty big sizing here potentially. Let's see if this thing can find some support. We're looking at a 375, so 10 points of risk, 2 contracts, right? Yeah, I'm watching here, team. I am watching. 6 points, I can maybe go 3. Missed my fill, canceled that order. Let's try again. Shame. There we go. See if we get this thing to behave. Oh, missing that fill was a blessing. Okay, staying away. Now you'd be looking 367. $354 now on this pullback. And this might be our more overreaction now. We've got so many buyers inside these wicks. It's definitely very appealing. It's 14 points, 15 points. Yeah, I'm interested in this. Stop loss would be 354. 20 points, 1 contract. And I'm kind of looking like under 370 as my entry, right? Where all the wicks have been defending here so far. Now let's see if we can get a discount inside this area. All right, sweet. So I'm in. Average price 368. 368. And I could have waited. Come on, bounce, baby, bounce. I'm just trying to watch this. I will write it out in a second. That flirted with disaster. I'm having some issues with these stop losses here today. That did not trigger. That's a manual close, guys. That's a manual close. Now I've had a stop loss trigger way too early and then now not trigger at all. I'm a little bit confused. The manual close at like 58. Something fishy is going on. Fuck. Does that just fake out breakouts? That's really annoying. 368, right, on that last entry, I think. Yeah, 368. Oh, weird, weird, weird. Maybe stop loss should have been 344. I'm gonna think about it a little bit. I'm here. Nice work, Mike. Yeah, you did the right, probably the right stop loss there. I'm kind of stubbornly looking for this move a little bit. I don't actually think my thesis has been wrong. My timing's been a bit shit. Yeah, I think this is my entry opportunity again here. Stop loss 342. Nice work, Mike. Just a little bit more. All right, there we go. I'm in 357.50. 357.50. Stop loss 342. No, it's 15 points of risk, right? So it's a one contract play. We should be able to answer these questions for ourselves, though, guys, right? We need to know what our risk is and how close we are to that max $500 worth of risk, right? If you're not doing that calculation before you jump in, you're just asking yourself to build up a tremendous amount of anxiety. Right? So we all know how much NQ moves per point. We all know how much ES moves per point. We can do that math ourselves. I shouldn't be the one telling you what your max loss is or what your risk tolerance is. That's got to be your responsibility. Again, not a perfect entry, but I think maybe we just survived the worst case scenario there. Let's see if this thing can go. Again, right? My objective as a trader is to start my trades with like as little risk as possible. Because if the trade works out and goes in my favor, I can increase my position sizing, right? I can add to my winner. I can do all these beautiful things. I don't need to go all in, all out on that first trade or on that first entry. So it's better to err on the side of caution, right? And be too conservative and then be able to increase your position sizing when it starts to work out in your favor. It's less ideal, right? To try to like have to get bailed out, right? Because your position sizing is so big that you're like white knuckling the trade. Everyone needs to answer those questions for themselves individually because everyone has a different number that breaks them, right? So there's plenty of formulas, there's plenty of things that have been posted in the trading docs and shared with all the various resources here. Your job, right, to study those things and learn how to apply it to your trading. And then for like a cheater's sake, right, you open up your trading account, you type in your price, you see how much risk you have. Is it more or less than the risk that I'm comfortable with? Is it less? More contracts. Is it more? Less contracts, right? You should be doing this on every single trade that you take. You shouldn't be asking me to tell you what the position sizing is going to be 3 seconds before I enter the trade. That is bad planning. Kind of a mixed bag reaction here so far. My max loss, Vinny, that I'm willing to take per trade is always $500, right? Always $500. So if I have 3 contracts and I'm buying at that price, or sorry, if I have $300 worth of risk and I'm buying at that price, I can't buy 2 because it puts me over 500. So I still don't understand the confusion. Let's go, Jason. Kind of debating closing here a little bit. It hasn't felt like it's been necessarily behaving the way that I want. Come on. Okay, it's got to push from here. It's got to push from here. Taking a little bit too long for my liking. Yeah, let's see if we can keep pushing. See if we can keep pushing. Much better. Much, much better. Negged it into going higher. Beautiful. Ooh, big little drop. At 357 average. I don't think I can pyramid in here yet. Not enough separation. Hey guys, I've closed. I've closed. I don't trust this. All right, out at 360.25. I think a good decision. Annoying, but good. Maybe it's setting up to the downside here now, right? Starting to feel like it's cracking. Yeah, I have no regrets over where I closed. Maybe should have closed at like that 370, but I can see why I didn't. Play a 15 min reversal. Probably have to be at high a day stop loss, right? So like 402. That would be 90. So here, right now, right, it's 25 points. 25 points is $500 a contract. All right, so it's one contract. If I can get it to be under 12 points, sweet. Then I can look to buy two. Again, right, as I box in my trade, I'm asking myself, if I enter here, how much am I risking, right? I'm asking myself that way before I'm ever thinking about my entry. So order of operations, right, and how you're setting up your trades and how you're like framing yourself mentally, very, very important. We get that order wrong, right, and we start to like do things like kind of haphazardly. We just set ourselves up, right, to have a tremendous amount of anxiety inside our trade, and then we're looking to catch up, right, with information that we didn't know we needed. So if you're okay, like the example maybe that Vinny you were getting at, right? If I'm within 15 points of my stop loss, right? Why not wait for a 3-point pullback and get two contracts? So that's the decision, right? That you have to choose to make. There's going to be pros and cons to each of them. That's what you're asking yourself, right? Okay, is it realistic for me to get another 3 points, 5 points? If I get a pullback into that area, is my idea still valid? Right? So that's your decision. Right? I'm trying to click submit at the point where I think I'm going to spend the least amount of time in drawdown. But when you have a big target, not always, like in that trade, I didn't, right? It's based on how realistic of a location it is, right? How realistic of a breakdown it is. So each trade is going to give you a slightly different feeling, for lack of a better term. So I don't deal in absolutes. Traders can't, right? Because each trade is a little bit different, a little bit unique. Each circumstance is a little bit different, a little bit unique. So no, I don't always. I don't want to box in my language that way. We're trying to get those breakdowns. I think, maybe this is my confirmation, right? Here's my secondary move. You're targeting low of day. So for now, it would be the aggressive. Alternatively, the pullback. So here, I'd be interested in two contracts rather than get the aggressive technique. Pretty tight risk. 347.50 stop loss. Bit bouncy here. If it wants to give me the pullback, right, then it's pullback minus 25, which would be approximately 43.75, right? Something like that. Okay, right. And now we're starting to get closer and toward that 2 contract range on the pullback. You're looking at a 369. Nice. All right, sweet. So I'm in 359.75, 2 contracts, stop loss 369. Beautiful. Quick $500 here so far, right? So let's see if this thing can now break down, right? And start to really push. That was a perfect entry, pretty much a perfect entry. So let's see if I don't jinx it. I might have some opportunities here to pyramid nicely. The dream. The little inside bar doesn't quite kill my thesis. Now, an increasing volume inside bar is kind of my least favorite candle. I could see this wanting to retest my entry price a little bit. So I want to avoid that basically at all costs, right? Let's see if this thing can break down and really start to push. And then I can start to think about building up my position sizing. But I need to flush under, right, this low here, right? Otherwise, I'm not really getting confirmation that the move is happening the way that I want. So I need that like secondary confirmation, right, that my thesis is playing out. Right now, I basically just I'm effectively green because I bought a good overreaction, not necessarily because I've gotten that breakdown here yet. So I want to see that breakdown before I'm willing to trust this. This I don't like though. I don't want to retest my entry. It's not a sign of strength. Better. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Still hasn't cracked through that low of day, so no pyramid yet. There it is. All right. Interesting that it got stuck. I'm looking for a gentle pullback now. Okay, sweet. I am in. Now I've got 4 total contracts. Average price 46, 346. And let's see if this thing can keep breaking down here and really start to push. Come on. Get under 30. Come on, crack, crack, crack. You're close. Sitting about $1,000 right now. Crack 30, crack 30. There it goes. Come on. Beautiful. 16. Let's see if this thing can keep pushing lower here, guys. Fantastic. All right. Okay, I've just added more contracts. Now my average price is 338. 338. Average price 338, 6 total contracts, just buying 2 at a time. Let's see if this thing can flush here through the 20s. That's 2K. Come on. I've just got my finger on the trigger here, right? Got my finger on the trigger. Come on, break down, you bugger. Come on. We are close. We have a fight here now. Come on. $15. Keep breaking. Keep breaking. A little bit too much of a fight here, in my opinion. See if we can get a quick flush. Come on. Okay, keep pushing. Keep pushing. Fight. I don't like this. I do not like this. Come on. Come on. Give me an exit here. Bad, bad pullback. Which prop firm? Opsum's had some issues today. Yes. Ashley, yes. I am currently red on this trade. Come on, breakdown, breakdown. There we go. Back to green. Man, I'm addicted to a stressful Friday. Oy vey. You got auto locked out. Aj, got auto locked out. It shouldn't be unrealized. No, I've been stopped out, guys. I've been stopped out. That's a very, very frustrating. Yeah, that's what they do when they lock you out. Oh man, I don't know if I have the courage for this. This bit of a flirt. Yeah, no worries, Vinny. It happens. Day's not over here yet. All right, so I'm in long here, 373.50. Stop loss 357. Let's see. Just one contract. Oh, fuck. Dumb decision. All right, I got stopped out of that. All right, I got maybe one more left in me here. I'm starting to get a bit annoyed. All right, so let's see. One more stab at the cuckoo's nest. That last trade was pointless. It was just a dumb 400 bucks. Kind of deja vu here. So stop would be 340, 350 for now. All right, I'm watching. All right. I'm out. All right, guys. So I'm in short 329.50, 329.50, two contracts. Oh, stressful, stressful, stressful. Okay, so just pyramided in there. Average price is now 323. Average price is now 323. Let's see if this thing can crack. Come on. Too aggressive on that again. Let's see. Okay, here it goes. Keep breaking down. Keep breaking down. I have a very aggressive trade so far. Okay, now average price is 320. Average price is now 320. Let's see if we can get that 300 breakdown. This is basically making up for that pyramid loss. Still got a bit of work to do here. Okay, keep going, keep going, keep going. All right, watch around this 300, right? That's what we care about here. Come on. Come on. Okay, watch this candle close. Not perfect. Come on. A average price now 318. Come on, get under 300. Come on. Here it pushes. Here it pushes. That's 25. 27's got to keep breaking. Got to flush through 300 here. It's got to flush. And this is going to be a freaking massive pyramid. All right, average price now 315, 315. And I'm watching for this flush, guys. I got 10 contracts on this. Gotta die here. Gotta. There it goes. That's 5K. Keep pushing. Keep breaking. Oh, man, this is dirty. Okay, flush. Probably should have considered taking profit there at that 290. Oh, let's hope I don't regret that. Come on. Keep pushing. Stay present, guys. Stay present here. Such a deja vu. Come on. Okay, average price is now 313. Gotta crack ASAP here. Gotta crack ASAP. This has been very, very aggressive. Come on. Okay, watching here. This is 12 contracts. I got 3 more I can add. And I'm at max size. But I'm going to be looking for an exit here pretty soon, I think. If I can get a flush with that 290 again, I'm going to have to look to get out. Sitting on about 3K here. I don't want to give this up. And too much work here today to finish the day in a bad mood. I'm trying to get a quick little flush here, and then I can turn this into a nice end of the day. This is effectively putting me to break even here on the session, so not exactly a banner day. Come on, baby. Yeah. Hey, come on, it's your moment here, NQ. It's your moment to die. Okay, watching closely here, team. Watching closely, pushing 5K on this. Keep breaking, keep breaking. I know you. Just not enough. I need like an extra 5 points. Or not like I don't need it, but I wanted to see it. That's a better way of phrasing it. A little bit of a Pony Express to this. Hey, come on, flush, flush, flush. Come on, 5 points. They can crack under that previous low, it's going to move. Definitely a little bit of anxiety here. This is the most aggressive I've ever pyramided for sure. Hope I just didn't jinx myself. $49. Gotta be super careful here. All right, any minute now. Ooh. I think is flirting with disaster. All right, team. Well, that's me done for the day. I don't know why I didn't take profit when I could have. I don't understand. That was so. Ah. No, I closed manually, AJ. You can change your limits, right, inside your TradeAvate account or inside your TopStep X account. If you didn't know what your limits are, well, very likely they just weren't changed. Any questions here, team? Ass kicking of a day here. At my stop loss price, AJ, exactly like I mentioned in the moment, man. Please don't make me go through the greatest hits right now. Your trade closed because you exceeded, right, your trailing drawdown threshold on the day. Nothing else. Yeah, dumb session. Oh. So frustrating end to the week. They back quite a lot. I just can't believe I didn't take that 5K green. I can't believe. Oh, so. Any questions here, team? Of course, now it's going to break down. I'm going to take a stab here. It'd be this, right? All right, I'm in short 309.25. I'm going to try to aggressively pyramid into this again. All right, 4 contracts now, 306 average price. Now 303 average. A lot of work to do here. Don't be a greedy bastard. Don't be a greedy bastard. I have a weird sensation because I don't really feel tilted. We should feel tilted. Come on. Okay, average now 302. Time to die. Ugh. Well, I think it's official. I'm quite stressed out now. There's a weird level of insanity. Also, probably a little bit of a naive part of me that thinks I can trade out of this still. Very dangerous feeling. Pulled down about $1,000 on this trade. Way too aggressive. I'm kind of just eating at myself for not taking that 5K when I had it. Almost like I'm trying to make up for that. This game can humble you so fast. Kind of at the point where it's like kind of pot committed to my trade. If it doesn't work out, I'm gonna lose 2 accounts. Eval one I've been working on with Tradeify, and then the one I got recently with Tradeify. Long time. On 10 points. I gotta figure out why my Fridays are like this recently. 2 Fridays in a row where I've just kind of got a little bit too pot committed. See if this thing can break down. Holy fuck. There's been some dumbass trading today. And it's 2K. And we're gonna pyramid again. Average price 306. Jesus Christ, I'm gonna get bailed out. Almost 6K. 62. I need someone to talk me off the ledge here, please. Yeah, it's incredible, but it's also kind of a fucking bullshit day. Okay, closed for 8,400. That was bullshit. I'm sorry, guys. Closed for 79.10. 79.10. And that was. I'm a little bit disgusted with myself. I should not be green. I broke a rule on that trade pretty clearly. Jesus Christ, Michael. I'm sorry, guys. That was not a very pretty day. I got like a little bit too pot committed. That was the ugliest. Oh, that was the ugliest $3,000 I've ever made. I feel kind of pathetic. I'm very sorry, team. I know today was far from a banner day. And I'll be very honest, I got very lucky, right? I ignored my stop loss, was willing to stomach it, and I got lucky. I basically got to the point where I was willing to either lose 2 accounts or get like a fuck it green day. And this has ended up being a fuck it green day. And I did other things that I shouldn't have done there. Way too aggressive on my ads. Added more contracts as price was above my average price. And yeah, I'm walking away lucky. So I want to be very transparent about that, right? Yeah, I feel a little bit sick. All out at 21,278. I'm very sorry, team. Oh, that was far from being disciplined today. It worked out, but it shouldn't have. I'm going to go final call for questions. And I don't know, I feel like I need a nap now. Christ. So final call here, team. Final call. I'm sorry for being a bit yeah, not a good trader today. I was not a good trader today. Because even where I closed where I didn't need to close there. That would have been an extra 5K. So I flirted with some of the largest disasters I have ever flirted with. All of them are saved and recorded, Barton. So if you go into the live stream link tab in the Discord, you can find every session from the last 4 years probably in there, maybe longer. Happy to be green every day this week. But I like got every rabbit's foot, every 4-leaf clover, every like answered prayer. This is a this is a session where I flirted with disaster and got bailed out. I'm very sorry, team. I made money today because I got pot committed to the pre-market prep and trusted that more than I should have. I mean, look, it was a good week, Jorge, right? It was a great week. Green every single day this week. Like P&L is incredible this week, right? It's almost 80K across all my accounts. It's just that I was too willing to gamble there at the end when I wasn't happy with the number that I was at, right? So it almost was like I was willing to accept the get even or get even worse type mindset, where effectively like I martingaled my way into a green day, which is full-fledged gambling. Full-fledged. So it paid off. Like I got lucky for hitting on 16. But today I should have been. Today I should have walked away after my first trade, being green on the first trade. Spent 2 extra hours stressing myself out for something that feels like a very empty reward. Very disappointed. Again, not disappointed in the outcome. The outcome is incredible. I am disappointed that I allowed myself to get so loose and that I was unwilling to accept big wins when I had them, and then to protect myself before I let big wins turn into losses, right? Big losses. All right, guys, I'm gonna go stop this pity party. Um, yeah, same deal like always. Right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours. But today I'm gonna probably be a little bit off the off my phone, and gonna go punish myself a little bit, and then I'm gonna probably drink a lot of wine tonight, cuddle up with my dog, and reset. The other annoying part, just last thing, like 2 days this week where I broke my rules. That's a very slippery slope. I feel a little bit, yeah, I feel a little bit like a guru today, or a furu. I didn't practice what I preach, so I feel a little bit like a hypocrite. So I'm sorry, guys. And this is my punishment, right? But I closed at 278. Now 50 points extra. An extra 12 grand. I've left out on the table just by being an emotional asshole instead of trading my system. I'm a dumbass today. Such bullshit. I'm sorry, team. All right, guys. Hopefully everyone had a green week. Tuesday through Thursday, pretty good. Friday, freaking nightmare, disaster, roller coaster. It just really puts a sour end to the week. All right, guys. Well, same deal like always, right? If you have any questions outside of market hours, Jesus Christ, hit me up and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. But I'm just going to torture myself here. I need to lock out before I do anything more stupid. This would have been a 50K trade now. Even more confusing. So have yourselves a great weekend, team. Be back in again on Monday. Sharp and disciplined trading. None of this cowboy bullshit. And we'll be back at it then. So have yourselves a great weekend, guys. And we'll talk soon. Sorry.